Hi everyone, welcome to another video lecture. Today's video lecture is about displaying dictionary after adding many values to the keys, and I'm gonna give you an example. This one is also um, a student requested actually this video, and they actually want to understand how they can add values to keys. Usually, because when we talk about dictionaries, we have this is the format, right? So we have a dictionary D maybe, and then there is a key. So let's say key one, and then there is some value, right? So let's say value one, right? They're asking if they can add multiple values in in a key. Yes, you can do that, and let me show you how you can add values to keys. So I'm not saying you can add value to keys, I'm saying you can add values to all the keys in a dictionary, and then also display that dictionary with an example. And I'm going to give you two examples. One will be with the use of for loop, another one will be a simple example, just using a function. Okay, so uh, again, first thing first, I'm gonna have a file here, and I'm gonna start coding. I'm gonna start, let me adjust it. Okay, so let's say I'm gonna take a dictionary. Let's say name of my dictionary is my dict. Okay, and now, so this is an empty dictionary. I'm gonna initialize it. Now what I need is, because I'm not gonna use for loop or anything, so I need a function to add values to keys in the dictionary. Okay, so I'm going to define a function, and this function is going to add values to dictionary. So I'm going to name it add to dict. Okay, because if you remember last time also we talked about it. If you write good names, if you label like in a descriptive way, it's easy for other coders, other developers or programmers to understand now which function is doing what. All right. So uh, add to dict, right? And then I'm going to take a few variables, dictionary, key, value. Again, these are variables. I name them. So dictionary means I could pass a dictionary, key will be the key, and value will be the value of that dictionary, right? All right. Now, when we are working with the dictionary, since this dictionary is empty, right, I'll have to populate it from the very get-go, right? And for that, I'll need to add keys and values, right? Because it's an empty dictionary. So I'll be adding keys, right? And I'll be adding values. Now, when I add a key, so suppose I will add key one, right? So right now this dictionary is empty. So key one will be added, and then I can add values to key one, right? Second time around, I'll add key two. So that will be added to the dictionary. Now maybe third time I want to add, I don't want to add keys. I want to add another value to first key, right? Which means key one is already existing in the dictionary, right? So I just need to add new value to that key. I don't need to add another key with the same name, right? So that's what I'm going to do. If the key that I'm trying to add is already in dictionary, so the statement would be if key in dictionary. If it is already existing, then we don't need to add a dictionary. I'm really sorry. Then we don't need to add a key, right? What we need to do is we just need to add the value. So dictionary key dot append value, because if the key is already existing, that means its value is already existing. Probably could be there maybe it's not existing. And another thing, when we are adding multiple values to a key, we are actually having a list of values, right? So we are playing with lists here, not just key and value. So the key will have a list of values, right? So I'm using the function append that specific value to this specific key, which is already existing in the dictionary. However, it's if it's not the case, if it is not existing, then I'll add this key right? So I hope you know. Uh, I'll put a link in the description box to my first I ever like my first dictionary program, so you can understand why we write this dictionary key. The main reason is when you write dictionary key, it will add the key to the dictionary, right? And since I'm telling you now that this key does not exist, because if it is already existing, I can just use this key, right? So dictionary key, I don't have to write equal to. I can just use this key and I can call a function. This dot operator, this is used to call functions or methods associated with whatever is on the left hand side, right? Since it is already existing, I can use the name and I can use this dot operator and I can call a function. If it is not existing, then I have to create this key in the dictionary first. So I will use dictionary key equal to. So the key gets created and then I can add the value, right? And I'm using these brackets, square brackets. Why? Because we are talking about list of values. It's not just going to be one value, right? Now, let me show you how to add values to this now. So for that we need to call this function. So I'm gonna call it add to dict. What is the name of the dictionary? It's my underscore dict. And so okay, so now we are going to play with keys and values. Let's pick one key, could be fruits. So let's say name of the key is fruits, and the first value that I'm going to add is apple. All right, I'm gonna just copy paste this statement here. Second time around also, okay, let me change it. Let me make it vegetable. And let's say the second key we are having is vegetable, and maybe I'm gonna add carrots. Rabbits love carrots. And third time around, I'm gonna pick the same key. So if it is already existing, it's gonna just use this statement. So see, first time both keys were not existing. So uh, when this function is called, the control goes to else part and this statement will be executed. So that space is created for both keys in the list, in the dictionary, right? Third time around, when I call the function again, I'm using fruits. So fruits is what? Key. Is it already existing? Yes. So it's gonna run this portion. It's gonna execute this part. Okay, so fruits is already there. It's gonna append this value app. Okay, let me change the value, maybe cherry, right? So it's gonna append this value to the dictionary. And let me add one more value. So what else do we have? Maybe orange. Okay, and then I'm gonna add some vegetable. First we added carrot. Now maybe we can add broccoli. And let me add one more vegetable. And what could it be? Tomato maybe, right? Okay, so now we have populated the dictionary. Now we also want to print this dictionary, right? So for that, you can just say updated dictionary is, and then you can print it, my underscore dict, right? Let me save it, dict program. Okay, and let me run it, right? So when we call the function and uh, populated the dictionary, we are just calling and we are populating. But then we also need to see these values on the screen. And so for that, I called print function to show the values on the screen, right? And these are the values. So if you see fruits, one key, and then it has list of values, apple, cherry, orange. Similarly, vegetable, that's another key, and it has list of values, right? So that's how you can do it. And now, so for this example, we were just adding, fruits and vegetables to dictionary. If the key already existed, we appended the value to the existing list. If the key was new, we created a new list with the values, right? And then we printed the updated dictionary. Now, let me show you the modified version of this code using loop. Okay, so uh, for that, again, we will need an empty dictionary. So my dict that will do. And since we are going to use for loop, I don't need this, I believe. Yeah, a lot of things will not be needed. Let me just write it from the very beginning. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some data as a list of key value pairs, right? Because I want to update this dictionary with keys and values, and one key may or may not have many values. So I'm just going to have a list of key value pairs, right? And I'm going to name this list as data, right? And in this list, I'm going to have fruits, could be apple, right? So this is one key value pair. I'm going to create many of these, right? So let me just copy paste it again. Okay. I'll start with the last one. So fruits, I can add another maybe uh, orange, and then here I want to change it to vegetable, and the vegetable I'm gonna add is again carrots, and this one let it be fruits, and then maybe I can again add some cherry or strawberry, whatever you want to add. Here also I want to change it to vegetable, and the vegetable I'm going to add here is maybe potato. Okay. Yeah, I think that would do. And so now we have this data list as key value pairs. Let me check. I think it should be sufficient. Mm, potato, fruits, cherry, vegetable. Yeah, yes, fine. Okay. So now, because we are going to use loop now, what we need to do is we are going to loop through this list data, right? And we are going to add values to the keys in the dictionary, right? So again, for key value in data, uh, if you know when we work with lists or when we loop through lists, because lists have an automatic what do we call it, index, right? So when I say for key uh, in data, it's automatically going to assume the first value in that specific list. But in this example, since we are not talking about one data, we are talking about a pair, we will say instead of saying for key, I'm going to say for key value in data. And not just key value, you can just use two variables for a comma b in data. It's going to pick both the values, right? And again, to make it more readable, I'm going to use key value, right? So for that, again, we're going to check if key is already, so again, there will be two conditions. One is like if key is already existing in the dictionary. Now, I'm not saying it exists in the list. I'm saying it is existing in the dictionary, right? And I'll tell you why. So let me write this statement first. So if it is already existing in the dictionary, then I can just use that specific variable, specific key, and append the value. If it is not existing, then my underscore dict key equals to value, right? So obviously, like dictionary is empty. So when you run it the first time, it is empty. Second statement will be uh, executed. So it will be because we are fetching data from the list and we are adding it to dictionary. So we fetched first pair, key value pair, and then we are checking if this key is already existing, then we are just going to use this index, that key index, and add that specific value to that. Sorry, if it is not existing, we are just using this key to create a key value pair. So I told you last time also, we can write just like this, equal to, and that value. If it is already existing for the second or third run, then we can use this name, use this operator, and we can call append function to add the value to that specific list of values for that key. Okay, so that's the only difference. And now, again, these statements are only going to populate the dictionary. If I run this code now, you will not see anything on the screen. Why? Because everything is happening at the back end. It is populating the dictionary. I want to show the dictionary on the screen. So for that, I have to call print function, right, with my dict, right? Again, I'm going to save it and I'm going to run it. Okay. And if you can see, these are all the values, right? So in this version where we are using loops, we used a list. Let me give you another overview. We are using a list called data that contains key value pairs, right? And we loop through this data list and add the values to the corresponding keys in the dictionary, right? The logic for adding values to keys is the same as in previous example. After the loop, we print the updated dictionary. Okay, so so you can achieve the same result using loops or functions, right? So that's it for this video lecture. If it was helpful, let me know. And yes, you can keep your questions coming. And I'll see you next time. Till then, take care.